What's going on, guys? Welcome to this week's Tutorial Tuesday. In this episode, we're going to be taking a look at how to set audio levels of your various presets on your multi-effect pedal board. So let's do it. Okay, so I've been making a lot of videos that feature the Line 6 POD HD500x, and one of the questions I get asked a lot is, how do I know where to set the audio levels for all the presets that I use, so that some presets aren't really loud and some are kind of quiet. And so in this video, I'm going to show you a method that's worked out pretty well for me. So basically what I do is I hook my 500x up to my computer with a USB cable, and then I just play my guitar through a DAW. In this case, it's Ableton Live, but this could work with probably any other DAW. And I just use this visual decibel meter that's on the track to get a visual idea of how loud my preset is. And then I just use that as the baseline for setting the audio level for all the other presets, and this works out pretty well. Now, this method works best if you're using built-in amp models on your effect processor, or you're using some sort of pedal that has amp models or impulse responses, something like an HX Stomp or a Strymon Iridium. If you're doing this method with an external amplifier, it might be a little tricky because you have to mic the amp, then route it into your computer with an external audio interface, and that might be more work than it's worth. You may just want to rely on your ear for setting the audio levels if you're using an external amp. But if you're using some sort of built-in amp models, this method may just work really well for you. So let me just show you this in action. So what I'll do is I'll just start with the quietest patch in my set list. Usually it's some sort of clean tone. This is the preset that I'm going to base the other presets off of. So I'll just play. And I can see that the loudest peak of my guitar tone is just under -6. And this is right about where I like it. I've found that it's kind of hard to make a clean tone louder than -6 without having to add overdrive or having to really push it hard with a compressor. It's just kind of hard to make a clean tone louder than that, I found. So I like to keep my clean tones somewhere between -6 at the loudest and -12 at the quietest. If you go quieter than -12, if you're playing at a venue, the sound person may have trouble boosting your signal loud enough to be heard with the full band. So somewhere between -6 and -12 is a nice sweet spot for clean tones. So I'll adjust accordingly. Once I get my clean tone set, I'll save that preset, and then I'll move to the next preset. So in this case, it is a lead tone. And so this one I do want to be louder than my clean tone because I want it to pop out when I'm playing with a band. So let's see where this one's at. Okay, now this one I can see it. Its loudest peaks are just above -6, which is pretty loud. It's probably the loudest I would really go for a preset, but it's where I need it for the band. So that works really well. If you notice that your patch is showing red and it's way up at the top at 0, that might be a little bit too much. I found that with these presets, you don't need it that loud. Just aim for your loudest to be somewhere near -6, and you should be pretty safe. Adjust accordingly. Once you get that dialed in, save your patch, your preset, and then move on to the next one. Now, this one is an ambient sounding preset. It's got a lot of reverb on it. Anytime you have a lot of reverb on a preset, it's going to make the preset more difficult to hear when you're playing with a band. The reverb just kind of washes the sound away. So for something like this, I'm going to need to make it a little bit louder than I would expect. So if I look at my decibel meter, I want to kind of bring it up a little bit closer to -6. So I'll go to my amp model. It's set for 58 right now. Let's bring it up. Let's just see what 70-ish is like. That's sounding better, and you can even see this preset is peaking above -6, but it doesn't really sound that loud. It's because it has all that reverb. So, this decibel meter This is like a good guide, but you ultimately have to rely on your ear. Certain presets are going to sound a little different depending on what effects you're using. But this meter does kind of give you a good idea at least. So that sounded pretty good, and then I'll just save that preset. And guys, that's basically just what I do. I'll just do that for the remaining presets in the set list, and usually that gets me pretty close. All right, guys, that's all I got for you today. This method works pretty well for me. It's not the only method, I'm sure. If this method works for you, let me know in the comments. And if you have an even better method for setting audio levels on your multi-effect device, be sure to let me know too, because I'd love to hear about that. Now, a couple of things before we go. These Tutorial Tuesdays, I'm going to be basing them off questions that I get from you guys. So if you have some sort of guitar related question, be sure to post it either in the comments on my YouTube, or you can hit me up on my Instagram, and that is at jon.eleyet. Just shoot me a message there. And if your question seems like something that could help a lot of people, I just may make a video about it. So love to hear from you guys there. Now, if you found this video helpful to you in any way, please hit that like button. Really appreciate that. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. It really helps me out. And I'll see you guys in the next video. So until then, see you later.